Blink and then it's over.
Mr. Jinx! Good morning. Hello. Let's don't see him. Good morning. Oh. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today we're actually in Egypt, in Callaway, which is about an hour and a half away from Hurghada. I don't know if you can see in the camera frame there, but I'm joined by my little friend, Mr. Jinx. And since we arrived at the hotel, it's been literally a cat sanctuary. There are an abundance of cats everywhere, but do you know what? This one is actually my favorite just because of its color. The other cats, they're typically darker in color, but they also have thick padded tails, which is quite strange to see considering obviously in the UK, if you've got a cat, I don't have a cat, but they have thin tails, right? And I'm not sure whether that's to obviously protect them when they're maneuvering around. I'm not sure, because of course it's 37 degrees here, and to be thick, to have a load of padding around sort of your body and also around your tail, it's probably not the most comfortable. Although, if you actually take a look at this, Mr. Jinx, which by the way is the nickname that I've given this cat, looks super comfortable. Good morning, Mr. Jinx. So I think the plan is this morning to go and get some breakfast. I've just had my electrolytes and also my lemon juice. So my electrolytes, I've got sodium, potassium and magnesium. Just because overnight your body tends to lose quite a lot of fluid. You obviously sweat, and with the climate here, what I don't want to do is run the risk of feeling dehydrated and getting something called Pharaoh's Revenge. So every single morning I'll come out here joined by Mr. Jinx, and I'll have my lemon juice with my electrolytes. I'll let that settle just to kind of stimulate digestion, and then I'll go and have some breakfast. Probably moderate amount of carbohydrate, low amount of fat, moderate amount of protein, and then I'm going to take you with me to the gym. Today we've actually got a push session on the cards. There's loads of flies going around me. I don't know if you could see that, but one of them just went in my ears. Let's go and have some breakfast. I should probably mention as well, I've just done my check-in. Now, as much as I don't have my scales here to assess my body weight, what I am doing is looking at my body composition, because we are at an all-inclusive hotel. So of course, I'm going to be surrounded by food, a variety of different foods. We just had Egyptian night last night, and in order to maintain my body composition, what I'm actually doing is using my hands as a portion guide. So I'm having 3 meals a day. We've established the meal frequency, which is ×3. Typically at home, I'll have smaller portions, but more frequently, around 5 meals to 6 meals. And that is around my peri-workout nutrition. So my pre, my intra, my post-workout. But here I'm just having 3 main meals just because that's when they open: breakfast, lunch and dinner. And within those meals, using my hands, I'll have a quarter carbohydrate, which is represented as a palm size. I'll have a quarter protein as well, which is also represented as a palm size, but I'm not limiting myself to 1 palm size. If I do want 2 portions of protein, then it'll be 2 palm sizes. And then I'll try and fill up my portion plate with half vegetables, which is represented as my 8 fingers as well. So for Egyptian night last night, I did have some lamb, roasted lamb. It was so lovely. We also had some potato gratin. On top of that, I also had some sweet potato, and then rounded it off with a variety of different vegetables. So this morning, just taking my check-in visuals, what I'm gonna do is show you how my body composition changes on Instagram over the next 14 days, just to see if anything drastically changes, or if you can actually maintain your body composition without tracking calories. let's go and get some breakfast.
All right, guys, we're just about to head to breakfast. It's 37 degrees here, and we got the water packed. It's incredibly important that you stay hydrated. Obviously, when it's super hot, we don't want to lose those salts. We don't want to become dehydrated, and ultimately, you don't want to be sick on holiday, right? You don't want to have those exertion headaches, which I'm someone that gets them. More so migraines, just because in my family, according to my GP, the migraines that we get are genetic. My father gets them, and it's pretty much all of the males on that side of the family who get those migraines. About to head to breakfast. Excited for the first session on the cards today. It's going to be a push session. It's going to be a little bit tough. Usually I train back at home. I have around 2 meals and then I'll go and train. Obviously the food's standardized, but I think with the variety of different foods that they have here, we can do the best that we can. So I'm going to aim for a quarter carbohydrate, represented as a palm size, quarter protein, also represented as the palm size, and then no vegetables this morning. We don't want fiber in our gut. We want those nutrients fast absorbed. And then we're going to go and train. It is. That's where we're going to be going in about 45 minutes time after we've had some breakfast. It's an enclosed area. There's tons of fans, there's tons of equipment. And to be fair, when we arrived at the resort, it was blasting with music. So looking forward to getting in there. To be honest, the entire resort as a whole is incredibly beautiful. Variety of different colors, different trees, different sectors as well. It seems like they're very, very keen on health and fitness. They've got spin classes by the pool. They've got spin classes by the beach. Music is pumping. Everyone's ready for a great day. Alright, we got some eggs, which is going to be our palm size. We've then got a mixture of fruit. We've got some apple, we've got some cantaloupe, we've got some grapefruit, we've got some watermelon in there, as much as you can't see it towards the bottom of that bowl. We've got some orange juice, which is natural sugars, fast digesting. And then we're going to finish off with, again, some more grapefruit. You can actually see here the Greek yogurt. It's 0% fat. It's actually spilling over, but it's peach flavored as well. So I'm excited to dig into this. This is what's going to fuel my training session. What have you got there?
French toast and banana pancakes.
So Cherish has gone for some French toast with banana and some chocolate sauce to fuel her workout, whilst I'm over here with some grapefruit, some Greek, it's not Greek, it's peach Egyptian yogurt, and then we've also got some more fruit.
Like one.
Alright guys, we've just made it to the gym inside the hotel. It looks incredible, and we're going to begin our push session. So genuinely I start with some sort of fly variant, but because it's being taken right now, we're going to start with an incline dumbbell press. So I believe the heaviest weights that they have is about 50 kilos. We've warmed up, we feel pretty good. The joints are loose. We've increased the elasticity of the muscle fiber. Let's go lift some 50s. Oh, do you know what? It's going to be a bloody workout getting these 50s all the way over to the starting position. Oh my God. I feel like a world's strongest man doing that. But we're going to put it on a low incline to begin with. Probably just going to go for around 8 to 12 reps, get a nice pump, and yeah, hopefully the session goes pretty well. Nice and stable. Shoulders back. Deep breath in. Let's go. Nice pause. And again. Very nice. Driving that humerus across the chest, bring those elbows together. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Nice little pause there. Drive up. Awesome. Woo! That's the first set done of this push session. Felt pretty good considering we just spent the last 5 minutes warming up. The most important thing today is hydration. If you're going into your sessions and you've not had at least 1 liter to 2 liters of water, but also minerals, things like sodium, potassium, and magnesium in there, you are gonna struggle with muscle contraction. We've got something called a sodium potassium channel, and that helps with muscular contraction, as well as something called calcium citation contraction coupling. Whilst that might float over your head, just to understand that if you are in a dehydrated state, you are not in a state of hydration or EU hydration, that's how I pronounce it, or for some other people they'll just say U hydration. You are really going to struggle when it comes to performance. So the most important thing going into your training sessions is getting a good amount of fuel, so a good amount of carbohydrate in there, at least 1 gram of carbohydrate per kilogram of body weight. So right now I'm about 87 kilos. I've probably had around 70 to 80 grams of carbohydrate just from fruit this morning and a little bit of honey on my peach yogurt. And then I've had probably 1 liter to 1.5 liters of free fluid with my lemon juice and my sodium, my potassium, and magnesium. So we've just done the incline dumbbell press. We're now gonna move on to a fly variant. I like running the pec deck at the start of the session just because it allows me to get my pec fully short, the sternocostal fibers, and then I'll run into some form of incline press or flat press. But of course, this machine was taken. Now, whilst we are away in Egypt for 14 days, I've had to change my training program ever so slightly. Back home and over the last 10 to 12 years, I've ran an upper-lower training split. The upper-lower training split is phenomenal. It's allowed me to squat 302.5 kilos, bench 200 kilos, and deadlift 320 kilos. Nonetheless, whilst we are here, we are going to be doing a push, pull, legs, and an upper body training split. The reason we've reduced the leg frequency is because we're going to be diving over the next 14 days, and I kind of want to save my legs in case any sort of sharks are swimming towards me. I'm joking. You obviously don't swim away from sharks. You actually have to sort of square them up, look them in the eyes, and kind of show them who's boss. Not in that sense, but more so just be confident in the water. But I do want to save my legs just because we're going to be swimming quite a lot, and I want to make sure that they are fresh so that when we are diving down, they don't feel fatigued. So we'll be doing a push, pull, legs, and upper body training split. Come on. Slight bend in the elbows, favorable. Again, driving that humerus across the midline of your chest or to the center of mass. 2 more. 1 more. So we're about 1/4 of the way through the session, and we've done a pec deck just over here. We've done an incline dumbbell press over there. And now what we're going to be doing is a flat Smith machine press. Once I carry these weights over there, it seems to be that all of the weights are scattered all over the place. So we're getting a bit of conditioning in. I feel like one of the world's strongest man carrying these weights around. We've got 140 kilos on the Smith machine bench press. Not something I do back at home. Typically I'd use around maybe 160, 170 kilos. That does include the bar as well. I know that with some Smith machines, they're 15 kilos, some are 20 kilos, some are even 5 kilos. But we're gonna say it's 140 kilo, 320s either side. It does say here that this is at a 20 kilo bar, so we're gonna try and do it for around 6 to 8 repetitions. Again, I'm trying to not get in my head about my routine where I'd have 2 meals and then I'd go and train. Instead, we're just gonna try and lift some bloody damn heavy weight, man. So let's see how we get on. Come on. Come on. Give me 3. 2. 1. Let's go. We got it. Always seems heavier on holiday whenever you do any sort of movement. I don't know if it's the heat, I don't know if it's the equipment. I mean, to be honest, it probably will be the equipment just because I've trained a certain way with a specific type of equipment over, you know, a 12, 16 week block. So I'm really happy to get 8 repetitions there. Do you know what annoys me the most? Is when there's plates left on the machines, right? But they're all different plates. Like we just had a 2.5 in between the 5s. Why wouldn't you just put a 5 and a 5 and then another 2.5 and then a 2.5? That is literally my pet peeve. How some people don't put their weights away, first of all. And also when they put their weights away, right? It has to be in order. So we got 10 kilo, we got 5 kilo, we got another 5 kilo, and then the 2.5. So it's in chronological order. Whoa. Yeah. We got 10 here. We're probably gonna need the 20s from over there. I'm not gonna put that 10 kilo there though, where I've just put that 2.5. We'll pop it up here. So we're moving on to a plate loaded shoulder press. The reason we're actually gonna target the anterior delt now is because there's no other incline machines that we can use in here. We've obviously done the dumbbell incline chest press. We've done 2 lower pec movements, so sort of like a pec deck targeting the sternocostal fibers. We've done a flat Smith, so this is the closest thing that we can get towards the upper clavicular fibers and also the anterior delt. I remember using this machine in Turkey. It's not my favorite. It puts your shoulders in a compromised position. So if you actually see here, I'm starting behind where my shoulders should be. We've got 20 kilos either side at the moment. We're gonna warm up. We're gonna see what we can potentially lift for around 6 to 10 repetitions, but just take a look at the position of my shoulders at the start. I'm having to come back past the pad in order to get my shoulders into a stable position. But once we're in that position there, this movement goes okay. It's almost, as soon as I come down here, I have to bring up my shoulders down just to be able to get that plate back on its resting or start point. Tell you what, that's actually really heavy. It's that starting position there, which is going to affect the set. But knowing me, because I'm stubborn, we're putting on another plate. We'll see how we get on with that. Probably a fail around the 6 repetition mark. But hey, we're going to give it a go. Just because we need to train hard. We need to lift some weight. We need to make sure that we're not just going through the motions and just moving that weight from A to B. That's the biggest mistake that I see actually, is that when I go into the gym, maybe less than 5% of men are actually training properly. The majority, the 95%, strolling on their mobile phones. That's another pet peeve of mine. I get that obviously you want to be changing music, but your sets and the quality of those sets are really what's going to dictate whether you actually build muscle or lose muscle. If you're just moving that weight from A to B and then jumping straight on your phone, kind of that dopamine scroll, just to kind of fixate your mind before you jump into another set, in my opinion, you're not paying 100% into your training. And that's the biggest thing that I see from the majority of guys. Don't get me wrong, changing your music, actually focusing on the next set, looking at your set volume, looking at the number of repetitions you need to hit that weight for. That's something I can get on board with. But I remember when I was training in a commercial gym, JD Gyms, I was waiting for this leg press, and I'm the type of person, I'll say, do you know what, just let me know when you're finished and then I'll come and take the equipment off you. I don't tend to ask how many sets they're doing because I don't want to rush somebody in their training. And this chap said, yeah, no problem. And I can see from the corner of the gym, right, he was scrolling and he was actually playing chess, online chess. If you're going to play chess, don't come to the gym. The gym is where you need to be working hard and actually lifting some good damn weight with good technique, good tempo, control most importantly. And that is how you build a lean athletic physique, not playing chess, not scrolling on your phone. Let's go. Another 20, I reckon. Maybe I underestimated that. But it's just that starting position. Once you get going and in the flow, the movement feels good. Just my shoulders are in a back position and trying to get them under so I can press upwards. It's tough. 3 plates went well. It's just that starting position. If we can get it up, it's going to be a good set. Here we go then. Yeah, it's heavy. We'll leave it there. That's ego lifting. Let's go. Just putting the plates properly. With little John in the background. Get your hands up. So we're coming to the end of the session now. We're going to finish off with some deltoids, lateral deltoid to be a little bit more specific. We're going to run 3 sets. Then we're going to jump into a cuffed lateral raise if they've got a cuff hanging around. And then we'll finish off with some triceps, tricep push down, and then overhead tricep extension. Fuck. Come on, little John. Yes. Let's go. Thank God that is done. See if we can lift that. Or that. Oh God, the Stiffmeister. If you've ever seen American Pie, you will know that reference. I don't know if that's going in. There we are, beautiful. Do a walk around. Zoomed in, zoomed out. Come on. One more. Whew. It's been a pretty good session actually. It's always not daunting, but because I've ran upper lower for so long, when you're on holiday or when you change an environment, you have to adapt. You have to make sure that you've got the time availability, just because we're going to be out scuba diving for the majority of our time here. But also you don't want to be spending hours in the gym when you're on holiday. Holiday, how often do you get to celebrate that? Maybe once or twice a year. Same with birthdays, once, Christmas, once. So come in, adapt your session, make sure you're working hard, you're taking the rest that you need, and you're enjoying it. That's it. Alright, so the last time that I went stipping was in Dubai on the Palm. So that was 2 and a bit years ago. Let's see how we get on. Still got it. That is the full push day complete. It took about an hour and 15 minutes just because it took a little bit of time to adjust to some of the equipment, and of course there are other residents here at the resort also using the equipment. So we need to understand that there are some machines that I've used here before, there's some machines that I've never used, and there's different resistance profiles. So some of the machines were heavier in the stretch, the others were heavier in the short, but nonetheless it was an incredible session. That's what we call the resistance profile versus the strength profile of a muscle group. If you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe for more health and fitness content. You can find me on Instagram at JackFitCoach, where we talk about fat loss, muscle building, and if you want to improve your health, your hormones, and your habits, make sure to drop me a follow. I shall see you in the next video.